Hi guys, and welcome back to the MCM Buzz stage, and we have a very special speedy guest on our sofa for you. From The Flash, please welcome Violett Beane. Oh, one moment.
There we go. Hello. Hi. Hi everyone.
How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. Third day, feeling good.
Excellent. I feel like I should say Happy Halloween because you come dressed appropriately.
Skeleton-ish.
Are you going to wear a mask later?
I know. I need like a whole thing. Someone find me one.
I know. Well, I was kind of wondering whether you might come dressed as the speedster Jessie Quick.
Oh man, they won't let us take that out of the set.
But you do look fantastic. It's great to see you masked up and ready with your powers. And I'm wondering, obviously you're returning now in season 3 of The Flash, and it's great to know that you're coming back with your powers established and also without any Flashpoint effect. When did you learn that that was going to be the story for you in season 3?
Man, it is so crazy. For myself and a lot of the other actors as well, we don't know very much beforehand. Personally, I didn't find out this was happening until a week before I started shooting.
Wow.
Yeah. And it goes to show, like, when I auditioned with mock sides, and I didn't know that I was going to be playing Jessie Quick at all. When I booked the role, they were like, oh, by the way, you're playing Jessie Quick. And I was like, oh, okay, that's new, that's different. So for this, I didn't know until, 7 days before I walked on set with the suit. So.
Yeah. And because obviously at the end of season 2, we see Jessie go back with Harry to Earth 2. Did you think maybe that's it for me now? My role is done?
Yeah. I mean, I honestly didn't know. I figured they had to make it become Jessie Quick at some point because of the comic story. But when we went home at the end of season 2, I figured, okay, I'm done with this show. Time to move on. And it was actually interesting that was one of the last days when we shot the scene of Tom and I, of our characters leaving. That was one of the last days I actually shot in Vancouver. So I got a little bit,
emotional.
A little emotional, and it kind of helped with the scene. But it was. I definitely had no idea I would be coming back.
Well, it's really great to see you back. But I have been wondering over the hiatus, we don't really hear about Jessie's life on Earth 2. So what do you think she's been up to? Is she just like a typical school girl? What happens to her?
Well, yeah, and that's also the interesting thing is that during our personal hiatus, how long has the show been going on? You know what I mean? But Jessie definitely is chilling on Earth 2. She just got her speed about a week before they got back. So I think she was sort of experimenting with that a little bit. But she's got friends back home for sure. And what I would like to see is a lot more of Earth 2, because when they did those 2 episodes last season, those are my personal favorite, because everything about that world is so different. You know what I mean? From the tungsten effect that they put on the camera itself, the whole world looks different, to the design of the clothing, to everything. It's such an interesting world, and I'd love to see more of it.
It's very sort of Art Deco to me.
Yeah, and it's steampunk meets like the 60s and like also futuristic. It's so interesting.
And in terms of coming back from Earth 2, do you think she'll ever bring anyone with her from Earth 2, whether it be a friend or someone else?
That would be really cool. That'd be fun to bring another character in who maybe has powers as well.
Yeah.
Who she met because now she has powers. Or I also think it would be interesting to see Wally pop over,
right?
And like see Jessie's life on Earth 2. I think she likes that idea. Yeah, I think that would be really cool.
That would be cool. And obviously now in the recent episode, Jessie and Wally West are together. I mean, there's obviously been a bit of chemistry there. There's been a bit of chemistry there. You guys know. You're here watching. You're caught up. And so how is that going to work? I mean, that is a really long-distance relationship, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, I've talked to some of the creators of the show and some of the writers, and they didn't really plan to make that relationship sort of happen. But just seeing the 2 of us, and when we were locked in the time vault together, they kind of, saw the scene the way it was developing and decided to make that relationship happen. And I think it's a really it makes sense, their relationship. They both are younger, and they didn't really know anyone in Team Flash, and they just kind of got put in this world and
they bonded because
of it. Absolutely, and I love it, and I love working with Keenan. He's an amazing actor, and I totally hope it goes further with the 2 of them for sure.
Well, it's interesting as well because when we see you come back, the first kind of reaction from Wally is probably a bit of jealousy at the fact that you've got powers. Is he over that now, or are we going to see the sort of repercussions of that a bit later?
I know, poor Wally just wants his speed,
He
right?
does.
But I think, he sort of is slowly coming to terms with the fact that maybe it's not his time or he was meant for other things. And I think once he's able to fully just be happy for her, then they can, go further with their relationship. But that's something you can't be jealous of the person that you're with. You know what I mean? And he can still experience it with her and through her and run together. And yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a fun scene as well, like seeing you two together like that. But you actually did most of your scenes, I guess, last year with Tom Kavanagh, Harry. He sounds like so much fun. Certainly off screen, he's really hilarious. How is it playing those scenes, especially the more serious scenes with him on screen?
Yeah, those two people scenes are a lot more fun because you're getting to know that person through their character and they're more intimate and you get to spend a lot more time on them. And so doing those scenes with Tom has been so spectacular. He's an awesome actor and just a really awesome dude. He's sort of, like a father in a way because he cares about what you need, but he also will make fun of you and, he jokes around and he's always got a guitar on set and he's playing some sort of song. And he's a really great person to have on a set because you do 16-hour days sometimes and you need that person who's keeping it really light and fun, and he's definitely that for us.
Yeah. Well, any anecdotes from filming of season 3 so far?
Season 3 so far, I've only been up there for a couple weeks, but I mean, definitely walking on set with a suit, everyone was just like, yeah, it finally happened.
A massive cheer went out.
Yeah, everyone was just really happy for it to finally happen. So that's been really cool. And we also discovered the game Exploding Kittens.
Yeah, what is that about?
Yeah, some of the people here know that game. Yeah, there you go. It's a card game that's mostly a chance game, but there's some strategy to it, and it's really fun. And Carlos brought it to set one day, and we've been playing it ever since.
It's just addictive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really fun.
Is there any I always wondered, is there any Pokemon Go in Star Labs or anything like that going on?
I know, right? Keenan is a big Pokemon goer. And Echo Kellum over on Arrow is a huge Pokemon goer.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know about specific ones in Star Labs. That's interesting.
And speaking of that, we have seen the Speed Lab now, a new set for season 3. What is it like going into that? And especially because I guess you were the first one to try it out.
Yeah, I know. The Speed Lab was humongous. It's actually right where Picture News used to be, the big place where Iris works. That's the set that got replaced.
Right.
And it's massive. It's bigger than the Cortex area, and it's really cool because you can actually go up and run and walk through the upper deck. We didn't. It was obviously visual effects, but you can go up
so you
there.
actually can go around it.
Yeah,
wow.
And it's kind of cool to see that from that angle and look down on everything. But yeah, it's a really cool set.
Because luckily having been to set, I have to say I really like the police department set because there's so much attention to detail, and you might be able to tell fans about this, but they often put up pictures of wanted posters with people from the crew and things like that. Is that right?
Yeah, and in Picture News, there's they love to sprinkle Easter eggs throughout the whole show, but there's definitely some newspaper clippings hanging on the walls or sitting on the desks that are just the cast and crew together, or a joke, an inside joke about one of the film people, and it's pretty funny to just be on set and see those. Yeah.
It's also, and it sounds fun as well because Tom and Carlos, I think, are they're hilarious together on screen. Off screen as well, it looks like they're pretty much up to antics.
Pretty much all of their scenes are at least 50% improv. And half of those probably make it actually into the episodes. It's funny being on set and doing those scenes with them and then seeing and wondering, is this, they just go off on tangents sometimes. Yeah. And I'm I just wonder if that's going to make it into the episode. You know what I mean? But they're totally hilarious, and everything you see is so true. And it's even more so what you don't see. They're just crazy.
And they're pretty smart because I remember talking to Tom Kavanagh. He said that he actually learned the equations that you see him write on the boards. So have you tried to do that at all? Or who would you say is the smartest person and who actually really understands that stuff?
There's a lot of large words that we all use. And a huge portion of the bloopers is just us fumbling with these scientific words that we don't know. But I think Carlos does comprehend a lot of it. I think he's pretty intelligent when it comes to the science part of things. But as far as like learning the equations and things, they're all accurate. They're all like our props department and art department. They like really do their studies, and everything is 100% real, as much as it can be with superpowers.
Yeah. And the time traveling and all
that. Yeah.
And one of the fun things about this season as well is it looks like we're going to see people getting more of their powers. Cisco's using his, Caitlin's are coming up, and obviously yours. Are we going to have some sort of power showdown? Is there going to be some sort of discussion about who's got the best powers at all?
I think that would be really, really fun. Now that alchemy is here and he's giving people powers back, that's insane. And I hope, at some point that could possibly be how Wally gets his powers back. I know a lot of people have speculations about that, and I haven't heard anything as to when or how it's going to happen, but I could definitely see alchemy being a part of that.
Yeah.
But I think it would be really cool for us all to be like showing each other up with our powers, or all the speedsters running together. I've always wanted to see that.
Yeah. You got a chance to run with Barry. How was that for the first time? And also hearing Harry say, "Run, Jesse, run," for the first time.
Yeah, that was really, really surreal because you hear him say it about Barry all the time. And running with Grant was awesome. He gave me a lot of pointers about what to do, and there's actual, sprinting techniques that a speedster would use because they're trying to go faster. And I learned those specific things, just about placement of hands and keeping your body very aerodynamic.
Right.
But yeah, no, it was really fun to run with him. I think it would be really fun to run with Melissa over on Supergirl. There's an awesome spread of Jesse and Supergirl running together, and I think that would be really cool to do.
Can you tell us anything about the upcoming crossover between Supergirl, Flash, Legends, and Arrow?
I assume it's going to be absolutely insane. I know they're shooting it like right now for a couple weeks.
Right.
And it's going to be absolutely crazy. I know from, just an Arrow Flash crossover point of view, those are so hectic to shoot, and Arrow is 10 feet away from Flash's set.
Right.
So, communication between all of them, and especially for people who don't watch all the shows, it's they do a good job of making it so that you sort of still understand the episodes if you don't necessarily know these other characters' points of view and their parts in life.
It's going to be kind of more like a movie in a way to watch the whole 4
episodes.
episodes.
And it's for a whole week, right? It's going to be the same week of all these shows. It's going to be crazy. I'm looking forward to it.
Are you going to be in it? Do you know?
As of now, no. But they do like smaller crossovers throughout the whole season, and I really do hope that Jesse could be a part of them because I love all the other people on all the casts. I would love to go to Arrow to work with Emily and Echo, and Legends would be awesome. Katie Lotz is a really sweet girl, and that'd be a really awesome show to be on. So let's do it.
Is there one particular person from the other cast that you'd like to be paired up with?
Yeah, I think Felicity's just a really smart woman, and I love her, how she's kind of badass, and I would love to work with Emily.
Yeah, that'll be a fun scene.
Yeah.
Definitely. And the other thing I think people are looking forward to is there's going to be a Flash Supergirl musical episode.
Whoa.
Well, I know. And
what?
I know that you have sung in The Leftovers. So are we going to see you in that, do you think? Would you like to be singing in that?
Yeah, I think it could be really cool. There's not much information on how they're going to do this, why they're going to do it, or when, but I would love to be a part of it. When Greg Berlanti and Andrew Kreisberg came up for a dinner up in Vancouver, all I'm going to say is Greg Berlanti asked me if I could sing. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a possibility that I could be a part of it.
I'm going to say that as a yes. I'm going to say, yeah, you're definitely going to be in it.
I would love to, yeah.
And also in terms of the other characters, one of the new characters coming in, who's a massive fan favorite at Comic-Con from the Harry Potter movies, is Tom Felton.
Yes.
So are you going to have any scenes with him? Do we know anything?
I haven't been able to work with him yet. I've met him, though. We've gone out and grabbed dinner with everyone. But he is a very rad dude. And he's so down to earth. And I would really, I don't know how that would work, why Jesse would go and work with a CSI, but I think it would be really fun.
Yeah.
To actually, it's always different knowing someone and then finally getting to work with them. Yeah. So I'm all for it.
And there's been quite a bit of speculation about how he might be Dr. Alchemy in some way. Have you heard many sort of rumors about what he's going to turn into, whether there's going to be some part of him that's a metahuman?
Yeah, I actually haven't heard that, but I could definitely see it. I think a lot of the characters seem to have powers that they didn't have before. So I could see him being a meta, some type of meta, but I don't know if he would be alchemy or he would get his powers because of alchemy.
Right.
But that is an interesting aspect. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to give you guys a chance to ask questions in just a moment. If you want to stick your hands up for me and I'll come to you. So have a little think just for a moment. But we have received a question from Twitter for you. I'm going to try and pronounce this. At Florina Natsaradu asks, who's your favorite superhero and your favorite villain?
Oh, man. My favorite superhero would probably be White Canary. I think she is also, just knowing Katie, she is like a lot of the stunts she does herself, and I think that's really awesome. She's incredibly in shape, so she's able to do those awesome fight scenes.
Yeah, she does parkour and stuff as well.
Yeah. And like gymnastics and boxing, and she just has all these skills that help her with a character like this. And villain, I don't know, I don't think it's been done on Arrow, but my favorite villain has always been Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
I was going to be here for Halloween, but I didn't. Oh, no. Next year. Yeah.
Next year.
But I've always loved, her origin story and just how she uses nature for her powers. And, I would love to be her at some point, if that's even possible. But
did you like the Uma Thurman version of her?
Yeah, I did. I think that's a great representation. And I know there's been so many Halloween costumes in the past years of her, namely Kim Kardashian. No, but yeah, I think it's she's always been a big one of mine.
Fantastic. Okay, so do you want to stick your hands up for me if you've got a question, and I will come over.
Sorry. Is there, on the set of The Flash, is there maybe one of the cast is a bit of a troublemaker?
A bit of a troublemaker. I mean, Carlos and Tom get into it for sure. It was Grant's birthday one time on set, and we were all, it was a long day, and we were all pretty tired. And we were ready to start the scene, and we were looking around, and Tom wasn't there, and we were like, okay, like, what's going on? Where's Tom? And then the director called action, and Tom just comes in with a basketball, and he's just like, happy birthday. And Grant's just like, oh, my God. And it was like this whole thing. But, yeah, Tom's always doing things like that.
Brilliant. Next question.
If you could be in any other, like, movie universe or TV universe, what would you be in?
Any of the what? Sorry.
So, like, TV or movie universe, like Marvel or Star Wars or something like that.
Oh, man. I mean, one of my all-time favorite shows is Orphan Black. I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of that cast, and I know it's ending soon, but I would love to somehow be a part of it, or a part of, what they do afterwards. I love all of those episodes.
Next question over here.
Before you joined the show, were there any comics or shows that you watched to sort of study up on the DC universe?
Well, like I said, I didn't even know who I was auditioning for, so I didn't know too much. I had seen a couple episodes of the show, and I knew who the Flash was as a comic book character. But once I had booked the role, I did go and I got comic books of Jesse Quick, from Justice Society and from the Flash, different editions and things like that. So I was able to study up after I had booked it. But as a kid, I never really read them. I read like Captain Underpants, and that's about it.
Next question over here.
If you could play one person from Arrow, who would you play?
Oh my gosh, I don't really watch Arrow very much. But I would love for Jessie to go over to Arrow. I think that would be really fun. Yeah.
Maybe she could, obviously with Felicity, maybe get a bit of gadgets maybe on her suit.
Yeah,
perhaps.
I love all the gadgets on that show. They're so cool.
Okay, so obviously we've been talking about The Flash for quite a while, but I also know that, and some people from here might know you from The Leftovers as well. I mean, that was actually quite a huge HBO show, and it had people like Liv Tyler, Christopher Eccleston. What was it like working with all those kind of big names on that show?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was such a fun experience because it was in my hometown. So, I stepped outside and I was on set, which is always really cool.
In Texas?
In Austin, Texas is where the second season was shot. And I mean, to get to work with such amazing people, Liv Tyler is one of the sweetest people out there, and she's been doing it for so long, so it's just amazing to still see that lightness in her. And I met a best friend on that set, Jasmine Savoy Brown, who played Evie. She's a best friend of mine. So it was just such a fun experience, and Justin Theroux's a really good guy. Just everyone on that show is really kind.
And for people who don't know, essentially it's a show where all of a sudden 2% of the world's population just suddenly disappear. You must have heard lots of theories about what happened to them. So is there any that you particularly liked or subscribed to?
Yeah, I actually didn't hear too many reasons about why, but I definitely, a lot of people could compare it to a rapture type thing, and that everyone went to hell and all these things. But I don't really know. I think it would be interesting if they were just living on another planet, just chilling, living it up. I think that would be pretty funny.
Yeah. And I mean, I know it was quite a sort of a dark, gritty feel to it, but what was it like working on the set there?
Yeah, it wasn't, I mean, when we were all just hanging out in between takes and things, it wasn't that gritty. It wasn't that dark. Maybe it was also because I was a little younger, and my role in particular was sort of a little lighter. But I had a lot of fun on that set. And like I said, it was in Austin, so I knew every location we filmed on. And I was like, oh, I've been here before and jumped off this cliff before. And yeah, it's just, it was a really good time.
Like a home from home.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And I know also you've been recently promoting a new movie that you've been in, The Tower. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. Tower is a documentary about the first mass shooting in America. It happened in 1966 at the University of Texas in Austin as well. And the 50th anniversary was this August. And I play, I'm on the bottom there, and I play Claire Wilson. She was the first person shot in the shooting, and she was 8 months pregnant. And both her baby and her boyfriend died in the shooting, but she survived. And this movie is it's incredibly important. I think it's really powerful, and it's very important for people to see. And as you can see, it's animated. It's an animated reenactment. And the type of animation is rotoscope, which if you've seen A Scanner Darkly, it's the same type of animation, and it's sort of hand-drawn, and everything is very detailed. But it's just, I mean, there's so much violence in the world, and I think it's incredibly important for people to see this film. I know there's screenings in the States right now, and there was one in London in a theater, but I know they're trying to get a few more, and I just want everyone to see it if you can. It's a very powerful movie.
And I mean, the way that it's shot, it's really mesmerizing to see the way that the voices are sort of mixed in with the animated scenes. But do you know why the decision was taken to make it animated?
A lot of it honestly came from Keith, the director, who, he did this ultimately out of his own budget. A lot of the money for it came after the fact for promotion purposes, but a lot of it was I mean, run and gun, very independent. A lot of the scenes, we shot at UT without permits and kind of got pushed away at some point.
Yeah.
Some of it was shot in his living room. A lot of it, I mean, it was just he wanted to do this film, and he felt that it was very necessary for people to see. But he didn't have the money to do it, so he made it happen, and he had a good friend who was an amazing animator, and just made it happen.
Well, I really hope lots of people go and watch it and continue to watch The Flash, which is an amazing hit show if you haven't seen it already, although I'm sure lots of you
I'm sure you have.
I have one final question for you before we wrap up. Because of the fact that as a speedster you are able to time travel, is there a particular time that you would like to see Jessie travel to?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the 60s. I love, Mad Men is one of my favorite shows, and my whole house looks like mid-century modern so much. So I would love personally to go there, but it would also be cool to see the future, or a prediction of what the future could be. And I think Jessie would like that more.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for talking to us. It's been an absolute blast. Everyone give a big round of applause to our guest, Violett Beane.
Thank you guys so much. I'll be over there doing autographs, and there's photos and everything. Come meet me.